Hey, what's going on to all my Greater Savings and Invest family? I go by Mr. J. Howard, here to bring you another financial success concept. Listen, today I want to debunk some myths. All right, I've been getting a lot of comments on some of the shorts that I've been posting and videos that I've been posting. So I want to debunk some myths on why people make poor financial choices. All right, so we're going to talk about some key points. I'm going to give you 10 of them, right? And we'll just go through them and just have a quick conversation. So the first thing is going to be emotional decisions that you make in your finance, right? So you have to look at impulse buying. I know a lot of you fear that word. Sometimes I fail to get caught up with impulsive buying and I forgot to look at, what type of things kind of drive that, right? It could be emotions like stress or maybe excitement. You also have to understand that there's some fear there, right? It could lead you to irrational financial decisions that later on you're going to regret. All right. Think about the emotional triggers. Could be a really good salesman, right? Who ties you in with some type of appeal that really, really speaks to your soul. And you're like, you know what? That one is for me. I absolutely need to make this financial decision, right? Or I need to make this purchase. Or it could be peer pressure, right? My friends got it. I need it too. There's a key word that you want to think about. It's called FOMO. FOMO. FOMO is fear of missing out, right? So the fear of, I want this thing, or I'm not going to have another opportunity to get this thing, right? Could lead you. It could really speak to your insides and make you think that, hey, it's your time to make that financial decision. And it might not be, right? So be careful with that. Usually fear of missing out it's driven by trends, not necessarily logic. So you want to make sure you keep logic in those financial decisions. Number 2, lack of financial education. Listen, no formal education can hurt you, right? That doesn't mean that it's a requirement for you to be financially successful if you only have formal education, but it does mean that you want to lean back on some of that education. And it's not just book smart. It may be street smart in a sense, the things that you know, or conversations that you have maybe with mentors or guidance counselors, whatever the case may be. But you don't want to make poor financial decisions simply because you don't understand the basics of budgeting, investing, and saving. You could utilize resources like this channel, Greater Savings Invest, where we're going to talk about all of those things and the many, many others that's out there. Also want to talk about the misunderstanding of credit. All right, there's a lot of myths about credit cards and loans, such as just minimum payments are sufficient enough, or debt isn't all the way as bad as it seems. Listen, there is some things that are good debt. I want you to check out one of my other videos where we talk about the difference between bad debt and good debt, and make sure that you can decipher between the two, or differentiate between the two. Make sure you have a solid understanding of what it means to just pay the minimums on credit cards or loans, especially high interest loans that you have, rather than paying a little bit more than the minimum, or balance your budget to where you balance your budget and you pay what you can pay over the minimum, and then pay a little bit more when you can, so you can maximize your efforts in getting that debt down, and talking with your creditors about changing up your interest loan, or maybe refinancing some of that debt. Number 3, instant gratification over long-term goals. Now listen, your short-term thinking can absolutely create a sense of desire for an immediate reward, right? Which can lead to poor choices overall, right? Because you're looking for that fast response, right? Spending instead of saving or investing, because saving and investing sometimes can be a slow, long process, right? Rather than spending right now and going to get it right now, can be more of a quick process. So you'll feel that reward a little bit better. There are some psychological concepts as far as what deals with delayed gratification and how it applies to your financial decisions, such as saving for retirement or spending on luxury items that gotta have it now kind of thing. So make sure you look into that and have a solid understanding. Number 4, overconfidence and a lack of planning, right? Overestimating your growth, right? Your income, and not understanding your growth, your plan of growth, right? Some people, they don't understand the difference between gross income and net income, right? So they look at this big picture item as it pertains to their salary or whatever their income sources are, and they forget to take out things like taxes. They forget to take out, a lot of the other deductions that come out of your check, right? That come out of your earnings, so you can actually estimate and plan properly and budget properly. Always assuming that you'll earn more in the future, or this big moment is going to come. Listen, we all want a big moment to come. We all want to walk into our job tomorrow and have your boss tell you, hey, listen, you're doing such a good job, we're going to double your salary, right? But you also want to make sure that you're planning realistic and that you look at things so you don't go into a overspending mode and under saving, right? So make sure you look at that. And in order to do that, you have to have a financial roadmap, right? A financial roadmap is going to identify the importance of a budget, right? It's going to identify the importance of your financial goals, and it's going to also point out that a lack of planning can lead to obviously debt, a poor investment, and then missed opportunities, right? So the societal and cultural pressures is number 5. Keeping up with appearances. These things aren't important, guys. You want to make sure that your plan lines up with your goals. Don't worry about your neighbor's goals, right? If your address is not where you want it to be, you want it to be in a better situation because of things that meet your needs, not necessarily keeping up with the Joneses. No disrespect to any Joneses out there. Don't let societal pressures dictate your life or certain lifestyle or statuses, right? You don't want to get caught spending beyond your means, right? Especially on non-essential items that don't earn you anything. There are a lot of cultural norms about money. All right. There's different taboos, right? That could also lead to poor financial decisions, i.e. avoiding investment. So no, we don't do that investing thing, right? Spend it now, live in the moment now, right? Just make sure that you have a plan. If you are going to do some living in the moment, make sure that you have a plan to live in the future too, right? Number 6, what we're doing right now, debunking some misinformation and myths. There's a lot of bad advice out there, right? There's a lot of gurus. Please make sure you dig deep into the research that you're doing. Look for success stories in whatever you're looking to invest in. Do the research, understand the market, the industry, who's the customer, when's the customer coming, how does my money go from this to this? What things need to happen in order for that investment to turn positive? Seek qualified advice. Be careful with social media and friends and unqualified sources that can definitely lead to poor choices. Get rich quick schemes, right? Listen, I've had some success in network marketing. If you want to make money in network marketing, go for it. Make sure that the company is sustainable, substantial, and it makes sense, right? Don't get caught in a situation where you're not selling a product or a service that makes sense, and do what's comfortable for you, right? If you're still in that industry, I'm no longer in that industry, but if you're still in that industry, congratulations. In any business that you're doing, just make sure that you do your research, right? Understand the myths on good debt. All right. There are challenge these things that come up, like to see if that debt makes sense for you, right? I'm not one that believes all debt can lead you to being wealthy. I believe there are some avenues that you can turn debt into wealth generating sources. But again, it takes a lot of research, and you got to make sure you're doing something that fits for your plan. Number 7 is the psychological biases, loss aversion. People fear loss sometimes more than gain, which can make you avoid investing or taking financial risks that could actually benefit you. So be careful with that. Again, research, pull the trigger when it makes sense, right? Anchoring. Some financial decisions can be swayed by initial price or expectation early on. Hey, it costs too much for me to do that. Or, hey, I'm not sure because of the cost if that's a smart investment for me. It kind of all goes in that pool of making sure that it's something that fits for you and is very well researched, right? Be careful with overpaying or undervaluing a product or service that could work for you, right? How do you get the answer to that? It's going to take a lot of research. It's going to take a lot of digging, and you want to make sure that it's tested and true, right? Number 8 is going to be the over-reliance on technology. All right. There is a lot of budgeting apps and tools that you could use, right? But don't rely on them so heavy that you forget that your basic understanding or your basic knowledge on budgeting. Make sure it makes sense so you don't lead to poor money management. All right, always make sure that even if you have like these different apps and stuff to balance your budget, pay your bills, make sure you're double checking, right? There's nothing like an old-fashioned pen and paper and a notebook. All right, buy now, pay later. I want you all to look into that. I do some buy now, pay later. I know there's a lot of companies, Affirm and Klarna, and no disrespect to none of those companies. They're all great. They offer some great products and services. I need you all to make sure you're reading, you're taking advantage of understanding what those interest rates are. So when they pay for those products for you and allow you to pay them back over time, how much are you actually paying, right? So if they say, all right, you can make this purchase, we'll cover the $600 that the company needs in order for you to get that product or service right now. So you don't have to worry about it. Just pay us $20 for the next 20 years, right? I'm exaggerating, but just make sure you do the research, add it up. It'll tell you. A lot of these companies disclose how much interest they're charging you. So how much is that $600 purchase actually going to cost you in the end? Is it going to be $600? Is it going to be $620? Is it going to be $700? All right. So make sure, remember, these companies are in it to make money, right? So there is a beneficial part for them, which is nothing wrong with that, but make sure if it's going to come at the cost of at your expense that you understand what that is, right? Number 9 is going to be the role of advertising in media. Consumerism culture, right? Advertisements and social media fuel our culture of consumption. So ensure that you are buying things that you need right now, right? In the event that you can get these things later, or this purchase is not as serious as to be a requirement that you need right now. Just because you see it on social media and you see it over and over and over, and then you pop over to this social media and you see it over and over, be careful before that allows you to pull the go on purchasing that product or service, right? If it's not a necessity. There's a false sense of wealth going on or that can be created from what goes on social media. All right, there's a lot of influencers, and if you don't understand the job or the role of an influencer, make sure you do your research on it. They are influencing. That is the point. They're going to promote products, services that they most times earn a compensation off of in order to bring more customers to that product or service, right? And then they will, in turn, if you're a business owner and you need them to do the same thing for your product, you could take advantage of it. What you don't want to do is allow that to create a false sense of wealth, that, hey, that one decision that they made drove them to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million. Look at how they're living. Look at their cars and their houses. You don't know what's actually owned, what's being leased. You don't know if they're in debt beyond their eyes. So make sure that you have a realistic view or understanding of what wealth means for you or what your goal is, because social media can cause viewers to feel a lot of pressure to do more spending to try to keep up with what they're seeing on social media. And number 10 leads us right in from the social media aspect of it, is having practical solutions, right? Understand that financial literacy is going to encourage an understanding, and it's going to educate you for the basic financial principles like budgeting, investing, and compound interest, right? You need to adopt a long-term mindset, all right? Understand the importance of planning for your future and practicing delayed gratification, and then break the cycle of myths, right? Challenge the information that you're receiving. As I said earlier, make sure that you research thoroughly, create personalized financial plans depending on your unique circumstances. I don't know what they are. You know what they are. Your family knows what they are. Definitely make sure that research is at the key of everything that you do. Just want to make sure we debunk some myths and help you with a balanced financial choice discussion so you can understand what it means to actually see your money turn into something good for the long term, not just for the short term and that real quick gratification. This is going to improve your financial decision making. As you can see, I got a couple boxes. I got a couple things to move. I hope this video helps. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below so we can talk about some financial decisions that can continue to help you get to wealth. I go by Mr. J. Howard. This is Greater Savings Invest Channel. Thanks.